It's so corporate. We just had to, you know,
I mean, yeah.
with the paper and yeah, cool.
And
Like
a cup of tea.
Cup of tea. It's
It's
very
very British,
English.
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of a. How did you end up
Here.
Yeah.
I don't know, I've been abducted.
Were you invited to speak?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm speaking at, it's just in an hour.
Mm-hmm.
It's a conference about, it's not even a conference, it's a talk about the art as Defiance in the Middle East.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's pretty interesting given the subject of your music and the history of the band as well.
Yeah.
Seeing as, well, this is something I'm very curious about. I was reading your bio and it said that you were training to be a priest in a monastery, and that's where you learned to play the guitar.
Yeah.
Tell me about what that was like, being in a monastery, and how you came out of that.
I did my 2 years of training, and that's it. No, because when I decided to, when I stopped wanting to be a priest, it was a decision that got nothing to do with my religiosity. I still was a Christian. I was a deep believer. Just kind of lost my faith along the years at university when I grew up paraphrased. When you just start thinking, you know. But how was it like? I mean, for me it was like normal because I've been surrounded with a religious environment all my life. Mm-hmm. So it's just like, it was a school, you know, kind of a school where you just go and more than learning the daily thing that everybody learns, you just learn theology.
Yeah.
And get to know the nature of God and all that, so according to the Catholic faith. So yeah, it was interesting. I was a believer, obviously. I mean, I felt blessed at the time. But it's nothing, I mean, I don't know, what do you want to know?
I'm just curious because it's very
rare.
rare.
Ugly. Well, except one was studying to become an artist.
So, I mean, did that inform the way that you write as well, in terms of your lyrics? I was reading some of them earlier, stuff like Balladon, and I mean, you write about kind of historically interesting things about Lebanese identity in relation to religion.
Yeah, well, actually the first song I ever wrote for Blaakyum was a religious song, which is called Am I Black? We released it in 1998, 1997, then 1998. And it was well, no, very few people really know this, but this song is purely made out of theological concept because of, you know, it has Christian values. So, but then later, yeah, I've. If you listen to the first album, there's a song called Journey to Eternity, which literally I'm inviting people to think for themselves. Mm-hmm. I don't claim moral ground or intellectual, actually they do claim moral ground. I don't claim intellectual prestigious place that yes, I just ask people to simply think, you know, for themselves and stop following people and following religion, following teachings. Mm-hmm. Not even religion. I mean, you can even be religious and be skeptical about what they teach. So, Balladon is just, I mean, it was one-off thing I did about our culture, because there are very few songs, or maybe no songs at all, that talks about our ancient Canaanite roots, including the Phoenicians and the Assyrians and all of these. So I thought it was a good subject, and I think it's going to become a thing, because we just did another song for the upcoming album that talks about our root. But it's not because of, I mean, Balladon are not just gods. I mean, the two words means master and Lord, you know, and they're in Hebrew, they're in even in Arabic, in Lebanese, we still use them to this day. But also Balladon, I mean, Baal was God. Any god was called Baal. And there's Adonis, which is and the Son of a God. It's part of our, history that we are taught at school, but we don't talk about it because it's pagan.
Yeah.
I'm not claiming that I'm trying to revive any paganism. I just talk about our ancestors. I mean, it's a nice subject, but but I mean, most other songs are, at least in the album, are about freedom of artistic expression.
Yes. So you're in '98. You were arrested. Am I correct?
Yeah.
So tell me about how that happened. About why that happened.
Well, why? Simply because I had black clothes, I had long hair, and I listened to Metallica at the time. I was not even a full-fledged metalhead. I was because Blaakyum, when we started, we played grunge because that was the thing in the 90s. We played grunge more than metal. We did play a bit of metal, a bit of hard rock. I mean, we were just a cover band when we started. By 1998, we were playing doom metal because, I mean, influenced. It wasn't purely doom, but it was influenced by doom. That's when we released Am I Black? Because it was, So, but I wasn't like, because of our culture, you rarely go like, I want to live the metal life, I want to be on the street. And no, we just were normal people. We just dressed black occasionally, but we had long hair. And so, do you listen to Metallica? Yes. They take you. And I mean, I was lucky because I just spent there 2 days, I know people who spend there weeks, and they just detain you, ask you questions. Oh, and they treat you in a horrible way. I mean, they take you there, and they don't tell you anything.
Yeah.
And then they tell you, okay, listen, we need to put you in, you need to go to the cells because we have no place to keep you here to sleep. So you need to go to the cells and sleep so we can continue tomorrow. And then the next day, you think, okay, fine. What today? Oh, today, we're going to put you in jail. Why? No answer, they just sign a paper, you go to jail. Then the investigator comes, and there's questions. Ridiculous. It's comical now, but in the past it was sad. They'd ask you things like, what do you do when you see a black cat? And it's like, I pat the cat. How do you? And stuff, like how do you pray? Do you hold the Bible upside down? Yes. And most of the time, I mean, at that time, when I was in 1998, I was in my third year psychology at university. So most probably, I was way more educated than the investigator in front of me. So it was this clash of corrupt politicians, corrupt system. We were under the Syrian occupation at the time. Enforced by an ignorant society who is so prejudiced about so many things, about everything that doesn't look like you, like them. So if you don't look like them, and that's what they tell you. The first thing they ask you when you're the first thing they ask you, why do you look like this? Why don't you look like everyone else? So yeah, that's how it is. And then in the end, they make you sign a paper that you pledge that you will not worship Satan, you will not perform Nirvana music because they thought Nirvana was a kind of genre, and that you will abide by the rule and don't invoke the wrath of God. And you sign it, and that's it. In my case, in the case of some other people, like I know some band, like the full band, they just took the whole band off stage in 2002, threw them into car trunks, took them to the station, underground, and for 9 days we didn't know anything about them. I really don't know what happened to them. You can go and ask them, but it wasn't really pleasant.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I was looking on Metal Archives, and just you can search bands by location. So I searched, and in Lebanon there were like 44 bands and in the UK there are 5,000.
Yeah.
So it's like a very big difference in the metal scene.
Yeah.
So what is the scene like? Are there very few people? Do a lot of bands share members?
In the past, it was bigger because before 1996, before the whole metal, I don't know, witch hunt, metal was like all over. You can hear it in the stadium, on the radio, TV. So we had a lot of bands. During 2005 and 2010, we had around 50 active bands. Now, the number is low, but for us that's huge because we're just 4 million people. You know, I mean, if you take it by relatively, you know, we're 4 million people, and there's around 3,000 people who could attend a concert. So that's relatively big for such a small-sized country. And we had 50 active bands. Especially that you have to keep in mind that we're not Westerners. So rock and metal is not originally part of our culture. Sadly, this number now dropped dramatically. Due to the continuous harassment, not just by the authorities and the religious institutions, but by the people, by the, you know, because our society is still a bit sadly, I'm saying this, of course not everyone, they're really amazing people in Lebanon, but the majority are limited to judging you upon how you look like and what you listen to, and there's discrimination now. You know, there's sexism, there's discrimination, and we're part of this. So a lot of people just didn't feel they belong anymore, and they left. Leaving our country, the immigration is a huge. It's not just due to not just the metalhead. The whole youth are leaving the country, so we're part of that. The economical situation of the country is horrible. The political situation is worse, and we're already surrounded by, you know, war in Syria, by Israel, you know, on our side. So just there's no prospect. Everybody's leaving, and when everybody's leaving, the metal scene shrinks. And but those who are there, they're still fanatically dedicated to the music. I mean, we do a concert, we get 300, 400 crazy motherfuckers. It's really good. It's been peaceful since 2012. We had no crackdowns on metalheads. I hope it remains like this. We're getting onslaught from Lebanon, and we've been listening. We've been hearing rumors that it might not go well with the authorities, but so far we're going ahead with it. So yeah.
That's really good to hear. You don't have to answer this question, but I assume that the way that metal is treated, it must affect a lot of families. So if someone listens to it, because I'm Middle Eastern too, I know what it's like. If someone starts listening to metal, how do people's families affect them? Like, have bands and stuff fallen apart because of like the cultural expectations of someone's family?
Not anymore. Sadly, a lot of metalheads, especially if they're in bands, they hide this fact from the families.
Yeah.
You know, like they don't tell their parents they're in a band. They don't tell their parents they're going to watch a concert. Some of them do. Some of them defy their parents. Some of them have open-minded parents. But the majority of them, they don't tell their parents. Nowadays, I don't think there is such a thing as, you know, families breaking apart because of this. But during, especially the second wave, 2002 to 2005, there were a few families that were shattered, either because the child was kicked out, or because the teenager did a counter-reaction and either was lost to drugs or just left home. So they're really minimal.
Yeah. Okay. let's wrap it up.
Okay.
It was a pleasure talking to you. So I wish I could ask you more, but you have to go do your thing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Well, thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks so much.
And remain metal. Remain free. I mean,
That's the final word.
Yeah.
Yeah.